Whether you're new to gaming or have been enjoying video games all your life, great gaming is not only about having fun and escaping the stresses of everyday life, but also being there to pick up our teammates, especially when they're down.
Guardian down.
We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: promoting a positive gaming community, sharing news around the industry in Destiny 2, and discussing thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 334, Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a day one Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we're a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise, but we like to sprinkle in some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobby as well from time to time on our roundtable episodes, which are typically every month, not this month, but starting next month. It's holidays this month, so things are a little jumbled this month. Anyway, you can see us live on Todd the Gator. That's on YouTube and Twitch. That's TODDTHEGATR. And of course, our Discord community where we go live on our actual live stage channel every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, we have the replays on Twitch and YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces and go from there. And of course, what would be a show without my co-host from the great state of Utah, Mr. Kingsley Mack. How you doing again tonight, Mike?
Yeah, rock and rolling. Glad to be here tonight. I guess it is warmer a lot of places in the U.S. because even in Utah, in the middle of December, we hit the upper 60s today. So,
what? You had 60s too?
Pretty warm. Well, maybe mid 60s. I'll check again what the high was today.
Yeah,
but,
man.
It was pretty warm.
It was beautiful. It was the most perfect day today. It was high 66. We're probably gonna be low in the upper 40s tonight. No breeze, just like a slight little jaunt of a breeze. I mean, working in it today was this is why I live in Florida, man, because of these times. All you in Michigan and all those areas that are New England, you can flick me off right now. That's fine. I do it every year and everybody gets pissed.
Yeah, look, if you look, the whole West is pretty warm. Only Florida on the East is warm. So it's kind of like warm coming down diagonally.
Yeah, the East is slammed right now. They're not happy right now, I guarantee you. People in Ohio and even Tennessee, maybe even North Carolina. I don't know what it's like over there, zombie, in North Carolina, but it's beautiful in Florida, man.
It's 58 right now, which is pretty warm for 7 o'clock at night.
No. It is. We're dipping quickly to the 40s. We're at 52 right now, so we're going to be in the high 40s in about probably another hour or so. It was dropping pretty quick. I was taking my dog for a walk, and I was like, "Woo!" I had just sweatpants and a T-shirt on. I was like, "Okay, come on, dog, get your business done with."
There's the latest weather.
Oh yeah, I see it there. Yeah. The Northeast is definitely cold. So anyway, enough about weather. In today's show, it is the second week of the Destiny's latest expansion, Renegades. We're going to talk about what we have played so far and our takes on it. Kingsley has some new information on the new Vanguard alerts this week. And there was a new faction rally this week. I didn't hear about this, but we'll get into that.
No.
Don't
call it that.
Okay.
It's not a faction rally.
Whatever. Anyway, I think they mentioned it in the TWAB, but we'll get into that later on. We go over any news from, of course, this week in Destiny, getting ready for this week's Equilibrium dungeon race on Saturday. For our topic of the week, I wanted to go over some lore surrounding one of the new nemesis of the Renegades campaign, and that would be Baal. And I have a question for Kingsley after I read it. If there's any questions from our community, we'll be sure to answer those later in the show as well. So if you do have a question for us, you're watching now and you're like, oh, I forgot to put in a question this week. Podcast questions channel in our Discord. That's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. Throw it in there, and in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, we'll be looking into that channel if we have any questions for the show. And if we don't, we'll just keep moving on. But I think that's all we got tonight. We got the Game Awards going on right now as we speak. Kingsley's got a third monitor up. So if anything comes up that we need a live update on, Kingsley will be sure to mention that live on the show as well. So if everyone's ready, well, let's roll. Hey, it's Todd with Guardian Downcast. You know, there's all kinds of ways that you can contact us. You can contact us on X. You can hit up our Instagram. You know, you can send us a voicemail, or you can even email us.
You can just tell them, go to the website at guardiandowncast.com.
You know what, Mike? You're exactly right. guardiandowncast.com. Later, Guardian. All right, Kingsley. Well, let's get into it, man.
Get it up.
Let's get into it this week, man.
Monitor.
Oh, well, second monitor. You only have 2 monitors? How many monitors do you have?
I got
4.
I can have 10 monitors if I want, but I only want 2 on my desk.
Dude, I have 4 monitors, and 2 of them are just regular HD monitors, and 2 are 4K monitors. And every time I turn on a monitor or move something around or switch inputs on one of them, my video card's like, whoa. Everything's just kind of like, oh, okay, hold on. And it all comes together. Yeah,
sometimes people with a million monitors make their life more complicated for themselves.
I love it, man. I have an extra monitor up here if I want to move anything I want to read on the side, like the Game Awards. I should probably put them up there, but I'd be way too distracted. There's
this little thing called switch tabs and hide windows. It's very easy to switch between the key commands.
I can't do that. And that's way too difficult, man. I'd rather just buy a monitor and just put it up there. Anyway. Hey, let's before we get into the new latest from Renegades, what have you been doing this week, man? I got a couple things some key things I wanted to mention this week, but kind of milestone things. But we'll start with you, man. What have you been doing this week? What you up to?
Well, let's see. Caring for my plants. I mentioned briefly I have a hydroponic plant system called Garden, Gardyn.
And what kind of plants are you growing in there, Kingsley? I'm just curious.
Ooh, all sorts. Bunching onions, basil.
Oh, okay.
Cilantro.
I thought it was that other basil.
30 different plants. Okay. Yeah, I know. I see what you were saying, but
okay. I got you.
I think for the other kind, it needs to be a little more climate controlled.
Yeah.
And watched over.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't know anything about that.
But you are allowed to in Utah with a medical license.
Oh my God.
A little bit.
It's funny. Yeah. I had a client one time, I was taking care of a lawn. I looked next door and I had all these pot plants just growing in plastic containers, just sitting on the side of this person's house. I'm like, I don't think that's legal. What the heck? I'm looking over there. I'm like, he had some fat buds. He had some fat buds growing on it. Anyway.
I just want life to be easy. So this system makes those plants grow easily.
My sister
auto waters and auto lights.
My sister has 2 of those and she loves them. She swears by them. She has even a portable one in her house. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. She's got one on her porch. She's got one outside in her patio because it doesn't get cold here. And then of course she has a little mini one in her kitchen. I'm like, that's the coolest thing, man. I got a cool sister. Anyway, so I'm sorry I interrupted. What else you been up to this week?
Yeah, no worries. And I do want to mention, I'm still really enjoying the show Pluribus, and it's good. It's so funny because I'm watching Breaking Bad at the same time. And Breaking Bad, in general, its storyline I like better.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Pluribus has some really crazy things that, the way the story goes, that you'll never expect. I think it's reviews is like a little bit less than like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and those shows, but don't let me make you think it's not a good show. It's just getting a little slow paced for me at times.
I finished it.
I don't know. What do you think? You still enjoying it as much?
I finished it this week. The season, I was really disappointed. The season's already over, but I think it is. Pretty sure it is.
What are you talking about? The next episode comes out tomorrow.
Okay, then I'm fully caught up then. So I could have sworn. Oh, you know what it was? I know what it was. No, I had an article pop up on my Google. You guys heard of Google? Well, I've got Google. No, on my Google feed. And it said that Pluribus wasn't going to come until 2027. And it did get picked up for another season, but not till 2027. I'm like, damn, that's a long time to wait.
Well, okay. Yeah. Now you're sidetracked at that point. I mean, that's kind of normal, unfortunately, for a lot of Apple TV shows. Severance is taking forever to come back to. Also, the soccer show took forever to come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is sad news if you like a show. But you haven't finished the season.
Okay.
Anyways,
it's every Friday.
We're on the same caught up.
It's every Friday.
Yeah. There's 6 episodes so far. Episode 7 comes out tomorrow. But has your opinion stayed the same, gone up, gone down?
Oh,
they better have a banger of a season finale because it's good. It's really good, but like it needs a little more excitement.
I'm glad you told me it wasn't the season finale because for some reason I thought it was the last episode. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. It's like only got 6 episodes and it's already done. Can't be right. I think you're 6 out now.
Why did you think?
I don't know. Sometimes I dream stuff and I'll wake up and just think it's true. Anyway.
Of course.
No, but I'm liking it. I'm liking it so far. What about that last episode? What do you think about that last episode without spoiling too much? Thought that was kind of
fun. It was fine. I mean,
in the freezers.
And by the way, next week isn't the finale either. There's going to be 9 episodes total. So
okay, thank you.
I don't know what you're smoking.
Apparently, I got to get my greenhouse up to snuff because I'm not smoking enough.
Yeah, you do. I mean, gosh, like you don't partake of anything, yet you're more high than me all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's great.
Yeah, but so you're liking
the last episode was interesting.
You're kind of lukewarm on Plur, but I mean, nothing's going to beat Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, man. Those are I know, classics.
But yeah, my wife is enjoying it more than Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, and it's really good. It really is. It's just I feel like they're almost going a little bit too much into character development, which doesn't make sense because there's not really a lot of characters, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
There isn't. It's very simple.
It's just basically her. Yeah, there's the side people, but like...
I want to smack those rich people.
I want to smack those other people. Like Breaking Bad.
Those other people just sticking their head in the sand. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? Seriously? I mean, anyway, I don't want to spoil it because it's brand new. It's a brand new show, but... So anything else? What else you been doing, man? What else you been watching or playing? Mm-hmm. We'll get into our Destiny, but
but anything else really worth mentioning right now? Well, all the other stuff I'll talk about tonight will be Destiny stuff.
Sounds good. I hit a pretty good milestone. I don't talk about my bowling league much, but it just started about 4 months ago, and I have been struggling, man. I hold about a 205, 215 average. And they have what they call drop 10. It's where you can't, if you're having a bad, you have to establish the first 9 weeks. 9 weeks, sorry. First 12 games, which is 3 weeks. And 4 weeks. I know how to do math. Anyway, we bowl 3 games a night, right? And then head to head against the other team you're playing and all that good stuff. It's a very highly competitive league, but I have just been sucking. I get into brackets every week. I put $20 in those, and usually 20, I can put $20 in and turn it into 100 if I'm having a good night. But long story short, I've been struggling. I think my average is around 195. They only can drop you 10 from your last year's average. So if you're having a bad year, too bad. You can only go down 10 points. But this last week, I actually had a pretty good game. My first game, I rolled a 211, which is right there with my average. Which, that's kind of what I expect to throw. On the second game, I threw the first 10 strikes in a row and I finished with a 268. I had a ringer 10 pin, 9 in my last frame of my 12th frame, in other words, of game 2. So I ended up with a 268. Was it 2? Oh, I had a 9 spare at the beginning, and then I went out from there. That's why the score is that way. Sorry, I'm getting down in the weeds here, but my third game, I threw 11 strikes in a row, and I've thrown my 12th strike of the game, which would be a perfect game. It'd be a 300 game, and I freaking choked, and I threw a 6. So I ended up not throwing on my last game. I ended up throwing a 296. I mean, it's been a while since I've thrown a perfect game. I've come close so many times, and I have a younger guy who's the son of a good friend of mine who bowls with us as well. He's like in his mid-20s, and he's come close as well. And I always tell him, hey, man, you just got to get your reps in. Just get your reps in. Before you know it, you'll throw enough of these types of games. You'll be in these situations enough times that you won't be as nervous this time around. But being that I've been struggling so bad, I finally threw a nice game. Ended up with a 775 scratch. My goal this year is to get an 800 scratch, which means I have to throw 3 266 games or higher to reach that milestone. So came close, but no 800 this last week. But I've got a new confidence now, so I'm hoping that'll carry me into the next few weeks here into the new year. But I wanted to share that and kind of flex a little bit because I've been really struggling at bowling lately. Anyway, I've not played a whole lot of Destiny this week. I got to come out and be honest. I have just been slammed at work. Last week I took a couple days off work to get the campaign done because I wanted to talk about it on the show. And man, I'm paying for it this week because everybody's due. And it's Christmas time. Everybody wants their yard looking good. Everybody wants their houses treated. They don't want to see any roaches or any bugs during the holidays and stuff. So I have just been working till dark every night, and it's been pretty brutal. But the little bit I did play, I tell you the one thing I'll do log in, which Bungie still nails, is those Vanguard orders. I love doing Vanguard orders because they auto renew when you complete them. It'll show you the next Vanguard order in your game. And you're like, okay, I need to get stasis kills. So let's switch over to a stasis rifle. Let's get that done now. And while you're playing like solo Portal or whatever else I'm playing, I can on the fly just knock it out, And the key is, I don't know if you guys knew this. This is under probably some of our tips we're going to talk about tonight. There's a little bar at the bottom. As you get more and more of the orders done, you get a better and better chance of a legendary order dropping, which means you get really high tier gear, usually tier 5, and you get really good rewards, usually enhancement cores or enhancement prisms or golf balls or whatever. And you can actually re-roll them too. If you don't, that's one thing I like. If you don't like the bounty, I'm going to call it a bounty. You can re-roll it and the amount goes up every time the more you re-roll it until you get one that you can easily get done while you're playing what you like to play. So I re-rolled it and I had a chance to get one of the seasonal fragile mods, which if you know from last season, the fragile mods can be game breaking. So that's what I've been working on this week. The little bit of time I've had to play is trying to get those legendary Vanguard orders and trying to get where I get another fragile mod. I only have one fragile mod so far, but they say it's a chance. And of course I did 2 of them last week and didn't get any fragile mods. So that's what I've been working on as far as that. Now I must say, and people are not going to like what I'm going to have to say next. I tried Lawless Frontier this week because I didn't have a chance to play it last week because I was doing the campaign. I forgot the campaign done. I was pretty much ready to just take a break. I played the Lawless Frontier solo on Grandmaster, which is the only level I can play because 512 light or something.
Couldn't always pick that easier mode if you want.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Grandmaster because it only goes as far as Grandmaster, right? It doesn't go to Ultimate like the Portal. I don't think it does. I play Ultimate mode.
I don't know, but yeah, that's the one that'll auto select for you, but you can pick an easier one if you want. I could have gotten 517 gear and it gave me an A+ score. Yeah, just GM. Yeah, okay. So I jumped in there. I had my Arc Buddy build, my Arc Buddies. I haven't even tried the manacles yet, the manacle build. I'm going to put that together next week and maybe I'll talk about it then, but I've heard the manacle builds are really good too, but I'm still using the Arc Buddies, and I'm just mowing through stuff, man. Even at high level, I'm mowing through stuff pretty good, and I'm using my Bastion as well, where I'm getting when I heal, I'm getting the mortar launches of the solar as well. I got through the 3rd wave. I was just about to the next part where I was ready to, extract from the map. And I had like so many revives left and I just got squashed. So I was like, man, I don't think they're scaling when you do a private match on Lawless Frontier. I don't think they scale it to a single player because it was a lot of enemies, man. It just became to a point. No, yeah. You shouldn't be doing it single player.
Well, I know.
You should be doing it with the team.
That brings me to my next point. I said, you know what? Before I talked on the show tonight, last night after I did show notes, I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and jump into a match made. I hate match made stuff. So I'm going to jump into a match made Lawless Frontier and just see what all this is about. So I jumped in last night. We did Tharsis, where we had to we had to move the crates in the Vex area. It was Tharsis Reformation was controlled. Yeah, they do get harder with each wave as well. That's right, Tajo. And that last wave was just so brutal. So many coming at me. I just couldn't keep them away. It was not that I couldn't kill them. It's just the sheer number of enemies. They just bowled me over after a while. And then you end up just getting booted. And, you get up like a partial completion or whatever it's called. So I played last night. I got matched up with 2 players. We launched in right off the bat. The 3rd player's AFK. He's sitting in the back, not moving. So myself and another Titan that was using the Stronghold build, he was using his prismatic blade and just blocking shit like crazy, like forever. And he was doing a good job. He's holding his own. We were trying to move the crates, all that stuff, while enemies are just swarming us. And the third player just disappears. I don't know if he got booted for not working or being active, or so basically just me and this other guy. And I died 2 times, but they give you like 9. I think they give you 9 revives. Well, I died on my second death. The other player had used up all the revives, because they're shared between the team. So I'm sitting there watching him in third person, and he's just sitting there just blocking like crazy. I mean, he's a trooper. He was doing the best he could. I'm sitting there watching him in third person because I can't get back in the game because I'm out of revives. I get booted for inactivity. So I get nothing for all of that freaking. I must have played for like 15 minutes. All of that work, I got booted. And I'm like, you know what? I think that's all I'm going to play tonight of Lawless Frontier. So I have not had a good taste in my mouth with Lawless Frontier so far. And I know you're playing it.
One example is not fair in the most remote universe.
I understand. But, if anybody's listened to me in this show knows that I hate match-made activities because you don't know who you're going to get.
Then why do you like Destiny? There's so many match-made activities in it.
Because Destiny has a lot of solo stuff too, or where I can bring friends in and we can all play. I like that part of it. But I tried matchmaking. I said, you know what? Kingsley's always ragging me for not doing matchmaking. I'm going to do matchmaking. I jump in there right off the bat. It's not a good sign. The guy's AFK. He gets booted for inactivity probably. And then the other guy, we try our best, but it's just so many enemies. I love that part of it. I love that there's just enemies swarming you in the Lawless Frontier. I'm just trying to get these damn contracts done so I can start ranking up my Piker gang rep. And anyway, not a good taste in my mouth for the first one.
Well, now that we're talking about Lawless Frontier, I guess we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have things to talk about it too.
Yeah.
But first of all, why do you think they make match-made activities in the game? Because they're generally fun. You can have an activity where
they're never
more things are going on, and you can't normally get it done with one person unless you want to super try hard. So you can make more expansive activities that are more fun with having more people.
I love goofing off with my friends from the community. I love playing with people in the community, and I know I don't do it as much as I used to anymore because I've got so many irons in the fire right now. But when we do raid nights, I look forward to raid nights because we're all just BSing or having a good time. But when it's match made to people you don't know, there's no comms, there's no mics, there's nothing, there's no way to communicate anything. It's just frustrating, man. I just don't know how long it's going to last, where people will just start burning out from people doing just what that happened. And I know that's one game. That's one case. That's not fair to judge.
Oh, well, how long it's going to last? It's lasted 10 years. Destiny's had match-made activities. It's worked out.
I'm just curious how long that activity is going to last as far as repeatability. And if people are just finally just going to do a solo or bring their friend
on
in.
that point, I was saying that the week before Renegades came out, I remember what I said. I said, everything about Renegades is going to hinge on the Lawless Frontier activity as far as how long. Because the campaign can be great, but it's one and done for most people. And then so if the Lawless Frontier, and I know we have the dungeon too, so not everything, but that's kind of separate from the DLC. You know what I mean? It's included.
And I'm looking forward to the dungeon this weekend. I'm looking forward to playing.
Yeah. But the things you mentioned, I have had some issues with Lawless Frontiers also, and some concerns. And it's not concerns that are about matchmaking being bad in general, but more specific concerns about this activity.
Okay.
So I'd mentioned in the Discord, and everyone's like, oh, what's the problem? We don't see any problem. But what you said was kind of like what I ran into for several runs too. And I'd say it's at most 30 to 40% of the time. So to be fair, again, I'm very fair. It's not like it's a majority of the time, but it's higher than I would normally see in matchmaking. Where the problem is not the matchmaking. The problem is like people are testing out new builds and overusing the Praxic Blade, even when they're not familiar with it yet, and dying. And I was getting pissed because people were not playing safe. And I was getting like 3 or 4 runs in a row, but still I did way more runs. So it was still the other runs I've been okay. And if people know that we're in the Discord, I made a comment about it, but I was getting like 3 or 4 runs in a row where I wasn't dying. I mean, maybe I die once at the beginning if it was an invasion version.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I wasn't dying at all. But everyone else on the team is just playing sloppy, overusing the blade.
Or don't know what the objective is.
They're dying because they're like going into a group.
Yeah.
It's not so much that I noticed. It was more they were just playing sloppy and dying and overusing the blade, going into big groups of enemies that they think they're invincible on. Maybe they're not Stronghold's Titan or something, and then dying. And then we get to the end of it, and there's no tokens left. I'm like, come on, guys. And then they die again.
That's the problem.
And I'm not dying this whole time.
I know.
And at some point, when I'm left as the only Guardian, and I don't want to try hard for like an hour and I couldn't anyways. Like I just got murked. I wasn't able to do stuff too. Now you do get rewards even if you don't exfil. Right. You just don't get as many rewards, and they will go to your postmaster. It won't look like you get.
Oh, I got booted for inactivity because I couldn't spawn in. It was actually stuck on a message saying looking for area to spawn. I'm like,
I had that happen once too, but I still got the rewards. I'm pretty sure.
I'll check my postmaster, but I don't think I got anything. I think I went straight to orbit. Like, get the hell out of here. You're out. So I'm like, what the hell, man? If that's the way it's going to be, then it does not want to get me excited about trying it again, especially when time is.
And then the other issue, there's two other issues, and things are a little bit better right now because we're only in second week, but still, if you look at the numbers, Destiny population is still really, really bad.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
One downside about matchmaking in general is if population is down, then you're not going to have as much of a chance of other good players you're playing with. But tonight, and I know this has got to be just another coincidence, but right before the podcast, I hopped in 2 Lawless Frontiers, and both of them in the first encounter, there was just another error where the objective said, like, one of them was get the solar things and you had to deposit them in that circle with the arrow that's pointing up. Well, enemies just stopped spawning. And then the 3 of us are like looking at each other like there was nothing we could do. We tried to go in another zone. We tried dying.
I hate getting
so it was just a bug or whatever. And then I loaded into another one. And then same thing. It was a different mechanic, but enemies just stopped spawning. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. So I think I chalked that up more to bugs than anything else. But, when we're used to Destiny having bugs, we're used to like the population being lower. And if people are playing sloppy, I'm just not sure how long-term this, like I say, with everything, when you do the stuff, people do it as quickly as possible because there could be a chance if you're just slacking on stuff and then you're trying to do Lawless Frontier activities a few months from now where you might have a way worse experience where, you might not matchmake well or no one wants to play it anymore or whatever. I know we're sounding both kind of down on it, but this is just my experience and just something to keep in mind. It'll be interesting to see. We may have a totally different opinion next week. We're like, oh yeah, it's better.
True.
I mean, if you actually fairly go into 10 different matchmade activities, I want to see your average experience.
Yeah. You know, I think
you don't even like to do that.
You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to have a midweek stream before the show and maybe just see if there's 2 other people who just want to run for a few hours. Just run back-to-back ones with me. Okay,
but that still doesn't give you a matchmake experience. That gives you a team experience.
I don't want a matchmake experience.
Like, you can't say matchmade is bad until you actually run 10 to 15 of them and then see. And then
fine. You know what? That'll be my homework for next week. I will run 10. I will run at least 10. I'll give you a sample size of 10 and let's see how it turns out.
Yeah.
We'll see how it turns out because I died 2 times. We get 9 revives. Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm even saying that even though it's not as bad as you think it is, this between being bugs or people being stupid or whatever, this activity has had more bad things happen in it that I've seen so far than other activities in the past.
Well,
that's not because the activity is necessarily bad.
No.
It's just other things are happening.
But Kingsley, it's the only way I can rank.
It's fun enough.
It's the only way I can rank up my biker gang or to get currency really for Spider to unlock my stuff with Spider as well.
That's the point.
So when I go in there, match made, I'll give it 10 games before now and next week's show. I'll give it 10 games and we'll see how it goes.
And spread it out, because if you're doing 10 games in the middle of the night where population's not good, that's not fair.
No, this is prime time. I ran it, I want to say 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Eastern, which still gets a lot of people on the West Coast. So, Yeah, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a fair shake. That way, then when I complain, I'll have better sample size. But okay, fair enough. I know we got a lot to talk about Destiny. I didn't want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
concerned about this activity. I mean, we're only in week 2, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it ends up being in the long run.
Well, that's why I wanted to mention it in the catch-up part, because I didn't want to get too complainy when we get into the next part where we start talking about the new stuff and some tips and stuff coming, in Renegades that can help our listeners and our viewers here. But I did want to say I had one movie review this week. There was nothing really going on at the movie theater. So I was perusing around my streaming networks and I said, I've heard some good movies coming out. Let's see what there is. So I watched the new Netflix movie called Jay Kelly. I mean, it stars George Clooney as like an international movie star. His name's Jay Kelly. And it's the relationship with his longtime manager played by Adam Sandler, which I got to tell you, man, I think Sandler stole the show. I think that's his best acting I've ever seen. And this is more of a dramatic role. It wasn't a comedy. It was more of a, remember he played the diamond broker in Uncut Gems. I thought he did a good job in that as well. But the movie centers around Jay Kelly's having a mental breakdown after meeting a controversial friend from his past, played by Billy Crudup, which did a great job too. Adam Sandler's character is kind of caught in the middle of this breakdown and has to decide, do I stick with this guy or, it's robbing my time with my family. I have to go everywhere this guy goes, which is all over the place, traveling all the time. The movie also draws a comparison between the two characters and how alike their situation is, even though one of them is a famous and one of them isn't. It also dives deeper into the drawbacks of being a movie star. I mean, I got to be honest, I didn't expect much from this movie being a Netflix release, but I was really surprised. I really enjoyed this movie. You can always realize when you watch a good movie, when you're thinking about it the next day, you tend to forget the mediocre ones. You know what I mean? So I give this one 4 solid stars. Really good film. I recommend seeing this one on Netflix. It's a slow burning drama, but man, is it really well written. You'll begin to hear the name Noah Baumbach in the future a lot more because he's made really great movies. I don't know if you remember the movie Marriage Story that was on Netflix. That's playing on Netflix right now, by the way, if you haven't watched that yet. It's Adam Sandler and I think another famous actress. I can't remember her name right now, but man, it was a really good movie though. It was a really great movie about divorce and trying to keep a marriage together and stuff. It was really well done. So 4 stars, great movie. Definitely catch this one over the holidays if you're home and you're looking for a movie to stream on Netflix. Jay Kelly, I thought it was really good. I mean, it's not an action flick. It's not Matrix, but sometimes movies really can be really smart movies and make you kind of think. And that's what this movie did. And of course, it was entertaining, of course. It wasn't a total bore fest drama, but I thought it was really good. So, well, if you don't have anything else, Kingsley, I want to get into our next part where we start talking about some tips and tricks for Renegades. Are you good? We'll do that right after this.
Hey, Elmer Fudd Games here, and you're listening to Guardian Downcast. If you're listening to any other show right now, I will break into your house and destroy your kneecaps. I will twist off the headboard of your bed so when you go to stretch in the morning, you fall between the crevice. Guess what? Dog hair and old socks. Disgusting. No one wants that, but we want you to listen to this podcast. How's that? Was that good?
I like it. All right, Kingsley, before we get into the TWAB this week, we wanted to talk about some of the new things happening in this second week of Renegades. And since I have had not a lot of time to play this week, I figured maybe you had some stuff to share with everyone. So I'll pass it over to you, man. What's going on in Renegades for week 2, man?
Sure. Well, one thing's not technically Renegades. It's I'll talk about the Renegades thing first. And this isn't necessarily a week 2 thing. A lot of people got it in week 1, but I'm just mentioning it. Did get my yellow exotic order so I could get the yellow blade for the Praxic blade.
It looks good, I bet.
And a lot of people already know this, but it's, the exotic orders are just a chance you can get, and especially you have a higher chance after the legend ones.
Yeah.
And, but if you get the yellow sword one, because there's a couple different exotic ones you can get, but if you get the yellow sword one, then that's for people like happy because that gets you the yellow colored blade. Now, what you have to do is you have to kill a bunch of stuff using the blade. And you have to do it in a legend or higher pinnacle activity, pinnacle up. So here's what you do. Guess what you do? I never thought I'd be doing this in the year 2025. What? You go into the Whisper mission and you go to the Thrallway.
Oh, that's right.
Quickest way.
The old farming method. Mm-hmm. I love it. Drop it down that crack. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of people already know this, and it's been talked about in the Discord, but I figured I'd bring it up for the people just listening on the podcast. Yeah. And, you just kind of load into Legend. It's easy. And also, it tells you, because you may be thinking too, like, well, what about ammo? Well, what they do is they give you unlimited. You don't even have to pick up the bricks. It just reloads itself with the green ammo while you're in a pinnacle op. And then you have that.
That's the new accelerator it's going on right now, right? With special weapons and ammo. Or is this something different?
No, it gives you it anyways. It says on the exact order that it'll give you ammo.
I like it.
Unless I read something wrong, but that's what the actual order said was while you're in a legend or higher pinnacle op activity, it'll reload your ammo for free all the time.
I like it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute. I got a question for you. If you're getting exotic Vanguard orders, that means you're doing bounties, man. Do you do bounties?
No, I'm doing orders.
No, you're doing bounties. Those are bounties.
And also, I'm not doing anything. They're just completing by themselves. I don't care what's happening.
Okay.
It's just happening in the back.
Hey, guys. Kingsley's doing bounties. Kingsley can say yes to that.
No, I'm doing orders, and they're happening in the background.
All right, fine.
I would never pick up a bounty because they're boring, and I have to actually pick it up, and then I have to turn it in afterwards. And I even said, too, the order system is way better than the bounty system. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad they finally did something like this.
Okay.
Orders and bounties are not the same. Orders are way better than bounties.
Okay. Tomato.
So when we ask in the future, do people do orders? Then that's something.
Everybody does orders because you're bounties. They autocomplete. You're just doing it by playing.
Exactly. So it's not even a fair question. You do it even if you don't want to.
Technically, you're still doing bounties.
But it is true, though. I don't even know how many I've done. I might have just done good RNG also where I got an exotic one because
it is
looking
RNG.
At my thing right now. It's not all legendary.
It's RNG. They mentioned it's RNG. And
I know, but you're supposed to have a better chance if you do more of the legend ones leading up to exotic.
I guess it's RNG. I guess you don't have to be doing a lot of them.
My bar's only halfway on legendary. And if I'm looking right now, I have one common and I have 4 legend ones that are sitting on my screen right now. Anyways, we're getting in the weeds.
Sorry. Damn. You got 4 legends? Damn. I had 2 at one time. I complete a lot of them. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe I just play better than you. I'm just kidding.
That's
I love it. So anyways, it was good to get that done. I love the yellow blade. I know a lot of people like the red. I'm not saying this just because I don't want to invade. I like the yellow color better. Now, I do also want to get like the dark black color or whatever's coming in the dungeon coming up. We heard on that, it's not a spoiler, but it just has an RNG chance of dropping from completing the dungeon, which also good news is the dungeon's going to be farmable. You can run it more than, you can just keep running it over and over on the same character, which is good. I don't know if the exotics can be farmable, but the drop for the dark blade color in the dungeon is going to be farmable. They at least confirmed that.
That's awesome.
That's good news.
Hey, wait a minute. Is there
kind of cool to get the legend order?
Sorry, I didn't interrupt. Is there going to be an exotic for the dungeon?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
They talk about it a little bit in the twin.
Okay, good. Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's like a pulse or something. We'll have to, we can look at it when we get there.
Pulse rifle? Okay.
I think so. I could be wrong. Anyways, but the legend, again, this order system good because you kind of can just do stuff and not worry about it. And then I did get the exotic orders drop tons of other stuff, tons and tons of rewards. So I was lucky getting the sword one pretty easily.
Yeah, you did.
And it's a crossbow. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Pulse.
While we're on the topic of prismatic blade, you could actually buy it next to Anur. There's like a room to the right of her where they actually had the exotic helmet you could buy for Mighty Warlock. And you could also buy, what was it, a mod for the Praxic blade? Was that right?
You could buy a core.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll get on that topic now because there is stuff to say there.
Okay.
this is good and bad also. So we found out, and hopefully it'll change because I feel bad for players like McMaximo that can't ever play on the weekend. But it seems like there's like a Zur type situation in the cantina.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
there's
thought.
the Techion lady that showed up on Friday and only lasted through the weekend. So people it's like a Zur thing. Anyways, yeah, you can buy stuff, and one of them is some of the cores that you can buy for the blade, which isn't the colors like I'm talking about. That's something different.
This is like a mod, not a color. It's a mod for the sword. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, but they're called like the power cores.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got?
So, but back to the exotic order, I thought it was kind of cool how they did that, and hopefully everyone can get that pretty quick because I'm sure people will want to be getting the yellow color blade and whatnot. So just be sure to look in the order system, even if you don't go in there too often. Now, they do make it kind of easy to look because it's part of just when you click into the seasonal hub, which you're going to be doing often if you want to look at the weekly objectives or the Vanguard alerts, which I'll be talking about afterwards, stuff like that.
Quick question on that on that exotic order. How many do you think you had to kill with the blade? Maybe 500? That's usually what it is.
Oh yeah, good question. I think it seemed like it was between 200 to 400 to 300.
Okay. So you got it pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean it took like 20 to 30 minutes. I don't know if it took that long.
That's not that many kills. Yeah, that's nice. About 250 then. Okay.
It wasn't 100, I know that, and it wasn't 200 either. Yeah, but
Tazo says it took him a good 15 minutes. Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Definitely reading everything in the chat.
No, I'm not reading everything.
Really long
I'm scanning through it. I'm just if there's comments that are pertinent, I'll add to it. Yeah. Go ahead. What else we got?
Yeah.
This week.
And yeah, so cool about the sword thing, but I want to say it was between 200 or 300, something like that. So yeah, that's on that. And then what else was I going to talk about? Should we talk about the other thing I noticed that actually this isn't technically Renegades. This is part of the seasonal stuff that they would have added no matter what the DLC was. But for week 2, they added something called Vanguard alerts. Now, this is really, really weird, interesting, good, slightly awkward, bad, but like, I'll tell you all the things about it. First of all, where they shoehorned it into the portal is weird. We're starting to kind of saw this happening, and at first, like, oh, the portal's so good because it's simplistic looking, this and that. But the portal's starting to get a little cluttered, a little complicated, and we'll have these step by fire type thing over time where they keep adding more and more to it. That it'll be back to where we were anyways, with the whole world director with a million different tabs and things. Anyways, to get to the Vanguard alerts, you have to go into the portal, ignore all the stuff down below, click into Seasonal Hub, then tab over to Vanguard alerts.
Okay.
And yeah, like if you want to go to Kepler, it's like 3 sub-menus down. So like...
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways. But Vanguard alerts are so interesting because you have some of the hardest stuff in here to do and some of the easiest. And what's more is this easy stuff to do is like the most rewarding stuff in the game right now, by far. First of all, you get the ARC rocket pulse rifle that everyone likes right now.
Yes, I got 2 of them.
The Saya Eterna. And you get a really good, basically, god roll of it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even for me, it was like dropping tier 5 and I was like 430 when I was running it. Maybe I just got lucky there anyways. But, and you get tons of other, you get enhancement prisms, you get golf balls, you get like 3 drops from the normal thing. And then also it has something called a challenge where if you run 3 of the activities, you get even more drop. And you can do that up to 3 times. So if you run it 9 times, you get just tons and tons and tons of loot. And these things are quick. I did the 6 of there's 2 different ones. You can do the quick play of the arenas or the quick play of the fire team ones. To me, the arena is going to be way more interesting. And I hear they're quicker too, because they're the quicker 6-player things. And they're on the easy mode, which I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess they had to do that for quick play. But if you're doing catch crash on easy mode with 6 people, you just slam through it real quick.
I'm under the assumption this is
strikes, which
yeah, I'm under the assumption this is all match made.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just make sure.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And the arena ones went super quick. So like people were noticing like, wow, these things are quick and easy and they're dropping more rewards than anything else. I feel like it's kind of like kicking the rest of the portal to the side. Unless you have a specific weapon or gear drop that you're looking for, like in solo ops or pinnacle ops or something like that, I kind of feel like these Vanguard alerts area is way more fruitful for getting rewards and stuff.
Yeah, I think
you can even do control. That has a set of rewards too. Yeah,
I think Tassie was saying
control,
it was like
arena alerts.
Yeah,
way better than anything I've seen so far anywhere else in the portal. Tons and tons and tons of rewards. Like,
I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't run the strikes. Strikes would seem to be easier than the arena ops, but I guess the arena ops are faster, huh?
No, oh my god! I just explained it.
I know,
but like arena ops, when you have 6 people, they go quicker. So remember, strikes have a lot of like time gates in them and boss gates.
There's only 3 people too.
Only 3 people. Compare that to a 6-player activity where people are just slamming through it real quick.
Yeah.
Plus, I've done the strikes a million times. I'm bored of them. Catch Crash hasn't been around for a while, so it's kind of like newer to me still. I did do the other 2. They're not as fun. I mean, I remember how boring the Astral Alignment was. Oh my gosh. So like the ad amount on Catch Crash is fun. The amount of ads on Astral Alignment is freaking boring. You're like waiting for them to spawn. And then Derelict Leviathan one, that one's okay. I'd put it right in the middle. But as far as getting through them quick, if you just need to get through them quick, I definitely think the arena ones are the way to go. So definitely check this out, people. There's reasons to do it. Multiple reasons. It's one of the weekly things, basically. One of the weekly
I'm about to play that
under Seasonal Hub weekly objective if you complete activity challenges, or you can do the Grandmaster if you want to do that. But obviously, doing the regular Vanguard things are going to be super easy, and then you get one of those weekly things done. I wish they would have had it a little bit harder mode, because they do matchmaking if you pick arena ops in the regular part of the portal based on the level you're at. So they have the matchmaking all the way through Master, Grandmaster, stuff like that. So why in the arena ops area do they just default everyone to normal mode? It's kind of a little more boring that way. And yet that gives you the most rewards, even sometimes better rewards.
That seems like on a harder level. Yeah, it seems like a bug. Hope they don't fix that.
I mean, or it could be one of these things that it also kind of seems like these Vanguard alerts, they shoehorned in kind of like last minute when people were complaining about, leading up from last season to this one, like we need more rewards, we need more stuff. And this could be their way of like shoehorning something in last minute. Like we're gonna have tons of drops. We're gonna have like challenges you can do with it. We're gonna make things super easy. So like the people that are complaining about not getting enough rewards, here, you have something super easy. You just do the arena ops or you do the strikes, and you're just going to get rewarded like crazy for just doing seemingly easy activities.
All right, Tasha, I hear you.
So also though in there, of course, like I mentioned, is the Grandmaster, the new Grandmaster things that are back for people. And those are also interesting too, because, and we figured this would happen, but they are, from what I'm hearing, a bit more difficult. You need to be serious about it.
Minus 50.
Kind of Grandmasters were getting easy over time. This is like way back to like when they were hard again. You need to be serious about it. You need to be on your toes. There's nothing you can just sneeze at. So you got that for the people that like the Grandmasters. They are back. Interesting stuff in the Vanguard alerts area. What?
I said soccer.
What's that?
Soccer.
What about soccer?
He's the one that likes the Grandmaster stuff.
Oh, lots of people do. I know Tajo does. Yeah. But yeah, they're back for people that like that. So people check out the Vanguard alerts area. I just kind of wonder if like the regular portal area is going to be a little bit deprecated over time if everyone's caring more about Lawless Frontier, and Vanguard alerts could be the more popular things. But
nice.
And those are the kind of things I've noticed this week. I don't know if there's really any other big news or tips on things. Of course, we have the dungeon coming up, but I think a lot of people are still, slowly going through things. And I know a lot of people that haven't even really done much with just barely finishing the campaign or haven't finished it yet. So it'll be interesting to see, other people's opinions on the Lawless Frontier activity more so when more people start running it down the road.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put a Nothing Manacles build together next week, and I'll talk about that next week, because I heard Nothing Manacles is just crazy OP right now. So I'm a beautiful
the top Warlock Super is definitely Tickle Fingers. It outpaces everything by far, and I have a build for that, so I'll talk about that one.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll use
the only problem with that, of course, is it's Arc. It's an Arc.
No. I said I'll use the Void build. You go with the Arc build.
You'll use.
We'll compare.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's nothing to compare. It's a proven fact. The Arc one outpaces every other super in the game.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. And the only problem with that one is you got to be up close. So when we were in King's Fall the other night, which I forgot to mention, did do a raid last night. Really, the only boss I used it on was Golgoroth, because all the other bosses
can't get close.
Don't really suit for that very well, because you got to be up and close.
That'd be a nice
Then
super.
the next best super by far is Needlestorm, the Strand.
That's what I'm using.
Nova Bombs are only hitting about 9K without buffs, but Strand is hitting about 14K without buffs.
And I get Needlestorm back so quick with my build, so I can usually get two. Unlike a Hobgoblin, for instance, I can usually get two Needlestorms in one DPS phase.
Yeah, and if you like Needlestorm, my Tyodoxia is still a good one there, because it buffs it even more, so it makes it the second highest Warlock.
But I don't want to give up my buddies.
Super by far.
Bring my buddies with me.
Tyodoxia.
Get my buddies.
Well, if you need your buddies to stay alive, then you're not as good of a player as me.
Fine, whatever. I can always use the
Yeah, if we're just talking about... That's the thing about builds is you got to, if you're talking about what it's good for, to be fair, if it's just gameplay versus DPS, those can be different things and stuff. I always like builds that focus on DPS, but then they're also good with gameplay. I don't want a build that's just good in gameplay because I rage so much and stuff like that. Then of course my builds need to have good DPS also.
Gotcha.
One last thing that I'm noticing, and this goes kind of along with the conversation of the Blade. The thing about the Blade is it's a thing that I feel like you need to be, and how do I put this? You need to be an average or an upper average player or better to really take advantage of it. Kind of like how people already were with like swords and stuff like that. That's what I'm kind of seeing, like people just, and maybe as people get more experience with it, they'll do better. Not just the Lawless Frontier thing, but I was so excited about it. And then, of course, in a raid the other night, too, everyone wanted to bring it in and quickly learned that it's not necessarily the thing you want to run everywhere.
Yeah.
People were noticing that they just weren't taking down stuff as quick, and then they swapped to their normal loadouts. I'm not saying that people can't main the Blade in like an easy tier raid, but the Blade almost does better when you have more enemies around, if that makes sense.
But
because you get more of the blasting back on all the enemies, you get more of the protections and the buffs and the debuffs or whatever the hell's going on.
Right.
And, you can swing, you can do your heavy attack if there's a bunch of enemies and then, kill them. But like you're doing King's Fall on normal mode, it's kind of like chirp, chirp, and the Blade isn't necessary. And then people will try to use it on some yellow bar and he's taking forever to go down where you got to take down the knight real quick. I'm like, no, we don't want to use the Blade for that. We want to use just a different loadout that we're used to for taking it down real quick.
Yeah, Kabam Island.
It'll be interesting to see how this Blade goes in the long run. Yeah,
Kabam Island agrees with you. He said the Praxic Blade seems more of a novelty weapon, and it's already lost a bit of luster. Fun to use, but not overly practical. Yeah, so he agrees with you there. Nice. Okay. Anything?
Well, I'm halfway agreeing with that. I think it can be very practical depending on the content you're in and how you use it. Again, what I was saying is what type of a player you are and how much enemy density there is. So I'm kind of middle of the ground. So I know some people love it and some people think it lost its luster. I'm more middle ground on it. But yeah, good comment on that.
I'm surprised Aztecross hasn't tested it yet. If he hasn't, I'm sure he's going to soon. Maybe he's getting ready for the dungeon right now, but I'm curious to see if
tested what
the DPS using a Praxic Blade on a close enemy instead of, our normal things that we use, because you can't really use it in assist spray. It's so limited. It's hard to test it in Vault of Glass on the Templar.
You really think that's going to be like a high DPS weapon? I don't think it's meant to be. I think it's more just like...
if you have the skill to get that close, you better give it lots of damage, but maybe it's just an ad killer. Maybe that's the only thing it's really good for. I enjoyed using it because I could block all the attacks, and even if I don't have strongholds as a warlock, I can block for there's a cooldown on it, but I can block straight without letting off for probably, I tried it last night when I was doing I can't remember what I was doing, but I was blocking shots, and I think it lasted for, I want to say 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, and then it stopped. It would just auto stop. And then not even 5 seconds later, I could get it right back again. So for another 15 to 20 seconds. So,
but here's the thing too with the blocking. That goes back to my comment too. You got to use it in a way. You don't want to just be blocking because then it's
deflect.
It's going to be taking forever to take enemies down.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I was watching even an Estercross stream where he was using it in the GM? I don't know. And people are like, this is taking forever. Stop maining the blade. You know what I mean? Because if you're just using the blade for everything, it's going to go slower to take down enemies unless you get up and close, kind of like Tajo mentioned in the chat. You got to have a combination of blocking / using it close combat. So you really have to learn how much you can stay alive, how much defensiveness it has versus how much offensively you want to be with it. But I don't know, man, there's still time, especially if an enemy's further away, where it's like you're probably better off using the new Saya Eterna or something like that.
And of course you can throw
it
too.
The blade is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we'll have to see. The Chucky Boy says the pulse rifle is pretty good from the GM. Yeah, I got the pulse rifle just playing the campaign. And I can't remember where I got those actually. I'm pretty sure I got them from the campaign. I got 2 of them. I got some decent rolls on them too. But I like the new arc pulse rifle. It's pretty good. It's been pretty good.
Well, if he's talking about the one from the GM, that's Horror's Least.
Oh, Horror's Least. Okay, that's different. Yeah, I like the Horror's Least, but
not the one.
I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to endure a -50 activity right now. I'm already playing at -30, so it's 20 more, right? But I know it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be like a lot of.
That's a big difference.
A lot of spongy.
It is a big difference.
A lot of spongy enemies. That's for sure. Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what. Let us get to this week in Destiny. Be right back.
Hey, McMaximo here, one of the other Todds. You're listening to the Guardian Downcast, home of the coolest Discord group on the frickin' planet. Word.
All right, this week in Destiny for December 11th, 2025. This week in Destiny, we're getting ready for our next dungeon race. Read on for all the info about Equilibrium's contest mode before it launches Saturday morning. We also have content creators fighting for their favorite syndicates and Renegades' Lawless Frontier. Hopefully next week's The Dawning event brings them together after their, quote, friendly exchanges of banter and bullets. A lot of repetitive content here. We've talked all about the Equilibrium dungeon. We've seen the trophies. The reward is, of course, I was just asking you, the exotic for the dungeon is the Dredgen's Descent. No, I'm sorry. It's wait a minute, is that the heirloom? Wait a minute. The heirloom exotic weapon? In addition to the dungeon's new loot, completing Equilibrium during contest mode offers special rewards. Defeat all encounters of the dungeon before the mode ends to claim the heirloom exotic weapon and Dredgen's Descent emblem. So it looks like Chewie's weapon. They don't give a name for it though. Does anybody know in chat what's the name of it?
The heirloom.
The heirloom exotic? Okay, maybe that's it.
That can mean 2 things.
Yeah.
It could be the name or it could be heirloom has a different meaning too.
And it does have the catalyst. There's a catalyst emblem here too, so I guess you can get the catalyst as well from playing repetitive matches of it. Let's see. Contest mode will last for 48 hours following the start of the dungeon race. As with the previous races, To give our servers some room to breathe, there will be no bounty or weapon leveling progress for combatant kills below boss tier within the Equilibrium dungeon while contest mode is enabled. Normal difficulty will go live once a world's first completion has been confirmed by the team. We were talking about this, Kingsley. We were talking about, are we going to split up our raid team into 2 teams of 3 and give it a shot for day one? And I think our for most of our team was like, well, is contest mode still going to be on? Because I'd rather play it normal mode. And you're right. As soon as someone gets a completion, which should be probably by afternoon, I'm guessing, if not sooner, we play Saturday night. So we should be able to jump in and hopefully play it on normal mode. Hopefully it's not that difficult. It's a dungeon, for God's sake. So.
Oh, it'll be difficult for you. Don't you worry.
Oh, I'm not worried. I'm in there just to discover. I don't have high hopes for myself. No, even normal mode. I'm in there just to try to figure out, just like we did with Desert Perpetual. We just, every week we would just dabble a little bit and see, okay, let's figure out how this works. Let's figure out what the mechanics are here, and then start honing it. And we'll probably do the same thing with the dungeon, but we'll figure it out. Everything they've talked about already as far as the rules and all that stuff, we really don't need to discuss here, because by the time this goes live on Monday, it'll already have been passed. So yeah, we'll just keep moving here. The Dawning event preview. It's almost that time of year again. Guardians. Abuelita Eva Levante is heating up the cookie oven, which means that the Dawning is close. The iteration of the Dawning starts on Tuesday, December 16th, and will run until January 6th. I love the Dawning. It's one of my favorite activities. Let's go over the event works. Get a quick drink. A snowball fight is here. Have you ever thought to yourself, gee, I wish I could throw snowballs at all the other Guardians? Ask yourself no more. This year we have a new Crucible Ops activity, Dawning Snowball Fight, where you can live out your fantasy of the most overpowered snowball fight of all time. So it's a one-hit kill, I'm hoping. No weapons, no abilities, just soft powder after a snowball super to one-shot your cool-headed rivals. Okay, so it's a one-shot, just only with your super. Okay. As in past years, snow will also be falling at several locations, allowing you to make and throw snowballs that slow, freeze, and shatter foes. The snowstorm modifier will be active in portal activities, generating snowballs upon defeating combatants. That was always a fun mechanic. Cooking cookies for your favorite Destiny denizens. Eva Levante will make her return with a cooking quest. Learn how to gather questionably edible ingredients, Vex milk, acquire essence of Dawning. Oh yeah, I remember those. And use her cookie oven to bake tantalizing treats. Oh, there it focuses when I look up. There we go. That's why I have these lenses. For the stalwart heroes you know and love the tower and beyond. Sorry, I'm butchering this. Exchange baked goods across the solar system for special Dawning themed rewards. And these rewards are pretty cool. They have 2 new cookies, Dark Matter Drizzlers for Dean of the Aeonians. That's in Caldera and Kepler in Solo Ops. And another one called Peanut Butter Paw Prints for Archie on the tower. That's pretty cool. A lot of rewards to earn. As for rewards, the Dawning is entering the event home for the first time, much like we did with the Festival of the Lost and Solstice. There is a shader, ship emblem, ghost shell, and more awaiting you on the event rank track, as well as weapons, of course. And the ship, and these look really good. I like the ship. The ship looks really slick. Looks really like low profile. I like that. Playing portal activities will drop Dawning engrams containing exclusive weapons like Mistral Rift, the adaptive frame void linear fusion rifle. I have one from last year. It's the adaptive burst. It's a 3-burst. Permafrost wave frame stasis grenade launcher. That should be fun to use. And then finally the Fimbulwinter Stitch precision frame arc sidearm. You had me at sidearm. You'll get 1 guaranteed holoful of each with random perks from the event rank track, and you can add one. You can find more by earning Dawning engrams from portal activities or trading in Dawning Spirit with Eva in the tower for the Dawning engram. Okay, one thing I want to mention here, a new chapter for the new player guide. I thought this when I read this at first, I was like, oh, they're redoing the new player experience. No. For some time now.
Guide.
Yeah, exactly. For some time now, we wanted to refresh our new player guide to be more comprehensive always available resource for players who have just recently started playing Destiny 2. The first chapter of Refresh Guide, Getting Started with Destiny 2, is now available as part of the Bungie Help. And we'll be adding many more chapters covering gameplay basics and beyond over the next weeks.
So why are they even mentioning it here? New players wouldn't even know about the TWID, really. I guess we're supposed to tell the new players, hey, get excited. The website's going to be updated.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends who haven't played Destiny.
I mean, this is nice and all, but this does not matter. No one cares. We were talking about, I mean, funny enough, I'm the type of a geeky player that would occasionally look at guides for other games on a website. But
I would.
Even I used to say, like, that's nothing. You need in-game stuff is way more valuable than a website that you go
to. And it's just a website. Yeah. So, oh well.
I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. And there's lots of good information there. But it's kind of like you play the game and then it's like when you're done, it's like do your homework and read the new player guides, on a website. So,
well, I could read it at work, I guess. Whether if they're thinking about playing Destiny, I guess it's there at least, right? You can't knock them for that, I guess. Anyway, I didn't read much data there. Additionally, our goal is to update it with every major release, so it's always up to date. Let us know what you think. Share it with your new share it with your friends, and help us make it the best possible guide for them. Equilibrium Dungeon Bungie rewards. The Equilibrium Dungeon launches on Saturday the 13th, and with it, new Bungie rewards to unlock. Complete the Equilibrium by 9:59 on April 30th. Wow, they're giving you a big window here to unlock the Equilibrium Dungeon hoodie and pin. Hoodie looks pretty good, actually. Man, I don't like those pockets. Man, it's okay. Sometimes you like pockets on your hoodie, then yeah. It's nice, though. I like the shade of green it is. Anyway, you'll get the Praxic title pin as well. All purchases, including Bungie rewards made on Bungie Store during Renegades, come with a secret weapon emblem with every purchase. And their emblems in the store are fantastic. I mean, buy a t-shirt and you get the emblem. You don't have to do much. I actually bought some stuff from their clearance and got the Halloween emblem, the one with all the skulls kind of animated. Anyway, it was really good. Hunt down the system's most wanted. If you want to know more about the big bad characters in Renegades and the Lawless Frontier, look no further. We partnered with 5 artists to create a suite of wanted posters featuring the most notorious characters in Renegades. Dredge and Bale, Premier Lume, that's the big guy, Enforcer Rao, Boss Relix, and Zephyrus, Autonomous Mind. Those are the enemies, and they look really good, man. I wonder if they're just posters, right? Yeah, there's a blog post you can clip if you want to learn more about it. The history and motivations of the outlaws and stuff, kind of backstory. I really like this. This would be good if I had the room, but I really don't have any room. $7 million reward. Wow, that's really good. Okay, here's what we were talking about. Join creators in Oath of Renegades. So maybe we'll get down and find out what this is all about. If you're having fun in the Lawless Frontier, join us for an all-out game creator-led activation where you can pledge your allegiance to or betray chosen content creators who serve as syndicate leaders. Choose between the espionage-focused Totality Division, the anarchist Pikers, or the gambling Tharsis Reformation. In Oath of Renegades, a selection of content creators from around the world have become, quote, lieutenants for one of the 3 syndicates. If you'd like to support them or be part of their team, please sign up for the Oath of Renegades website. There's a link here. Link your Bungie.net account and pledge your allegiance to your chosen creator so you can help them and send their syndicate earn points. The lieutenants will have prizes to give out if their syndicate comes out on top at the end of each event day. Prizes include Year of Prophecy collector's editions, exclusive unreleased Renegades themed displays, Renegade game codes, back to basic emblems, and more. So pledge wisely. Of course, you can also choose to go ahead.
Oh.
No.
What I don't like about that too is only the winners get to have the rewards. So it's like, then of course that makes it so everyone wants to just join Team Scarrow, whoever's in top place.
But it's daily.
It's too bad they couldn't have rewards to give to everyone,
It's probably like Guardian Games, probably a daily reward, You get points for every win, every day. And
okay, but do you understand my point?
Yeah,
like
I know.
People, if you want a reward, you're going to look at, because you could go to the website and see who's top ranking. So why would, if someone wants the rewards, why would they join a smaller team like supporting Danfinity, which I did, by the way?
Yeah.
But like Danfinity is not going to win, compared to some of these bigger ones. And if you want the rewards, you got to go with one of the bigger teams. So
yeah, I'll join Danfinity. I like that dude. Danfinity's a cool dude, man. I like that guy. We're both still here making Destiny content, right? I listen to his podcast too. He's got a really good podcast. Destiny Digest is the name of his podcast, and I listen to it when I get a chance. Good Destiny podcast, by the way, if you're looking for another podcast to listen to. The lieutenants will be streaming for 2 hours on these dates between these times, so stay tuned to their individual social platforms for their specific stream times and more information. You got December 11th, 9 to 9. Wow. Okay, 24 hours. December 15th, 9.
Yeah, no one cares about all these things, right?
December 18th, basically 24-hour streams for each of them? Or maybe that's the window that's open to do this, I guess. Okay. There's a list of...
So there is a reward. There's an emblem that everyone can get at the end of the event, no matter what.
Right.
But other than that, the daily rewards are just for the winner. And then that streamer hands those things out. So that's what it says here. It could be wrong. But
I see. Yeah, there's a list of all of the streamers and what division they're part of. So you can look on that if you want to see who you want to join. And I'm looking for Danfinity. Which one is he? He looks like he's on Tharsis, maybe? Yeah, Tharsis Reformation.
Yes, that's also why I teamed up with him.
Yeah, because you're already a member anyway. Yeah. You're already on the Tharsis Reformation, unless you've changed already. Anyway. Player support report. Shit's pretty much broken. Is there anything we need to mention here, Kingsley, that stands out other than stuff we've been encountering?
Well, some things to mention. I do actually think about the Fire and Ice mission. This is more stuff that's coming up. They are going to be making the mission easier in a way, but also they could make it harder, which and of course, by the time you hear this, you're not going to have much time if you're not listening live. But
right.
Right now, there's a cheese where you don't have to do the timer if you want to get the catalysts on legend mode. Now, I'm not saying they're going to for sure fix that by Tuesday, but they might. But also on Tuesday, they're making other things easier. They're making, it's mostly stuff in the boss encounter where the boss encounter is very annoying, especially doing the catalysts on legend because you have to keep swapping the nut like so many times. And the platform goes away pretty quickly. So what they're changing is the platforms are not going to go away. And you can do pretty much an instant or 1 second interact, where right now it's about like one of those 3 second interact things. So that'll be good. They'll be making that stuff a bit easier. But still, people, I always recommend if you want to get something done, the sooner the better. Because if they do fix the cheese of the timer, then that will be harder that way.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
what happened to Destiny saying they weren't gonna worry about fixing game breaking stuff? This isn't game breaking. Leave the damn timer off. You don't need to have timers on stuff anyway. It's such a artificial. It's such an artificial difficulty. I swear to God, I hate timers. Anyway, all right. Well, we'll look into that. I guess maybe me and you should get all our catalysts. Have you got all yours done yet? All your catalysts?
Oh yeah.
What?
Like I
gotta get my shit together.
I mean what I say. I'm not just saying people to do that and then I don't do it. I have all my catalysts already. Because it's usually easier sooner rather than later for multiple reasons. Because there may be a cheese, there may be more people willing to do it in the community. Like, not that I'm saying people won't be willing down the road, but right now more people are interested than weeks from now. You know what I mean? So I always think it's better doing things sooner rather than later.
All right. Heirloom is the name of the exotic, Tajo's saying, and it's Abuelita. Yes. I thought I doubled it up and said it again.
No.
Okay.
No, you did not say Abuelita.
It's Spanish for grandmother. I know. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Abuelita is kind of how you say it.
Abuelita. Okay.
I know a lot of people say Abuelita, but I'm used to in California saying Abuelita.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely need to do this without the timer so I can get it all done. So I may be enlisting your help. Maybe I'll bribe you with something that you can help me get it done. We'll figure it out.
I'll be out. I've offered to.
Okay.
But also there is the other problem though right now is there is a bug that you have to, if you don't do it kind of like right away, you have to join someone else who hasn't done it yet. But if you haven't done it, I can join you because I don't care.
I've only run the first one, and it's the reason I don't have the exotic because I never ran it on Legend. Remember, it was defaulting to normal.
Oh, but you might not be able to run with me. That's the point. Yeah. Well, we could have 3.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. I did want to mention this, though, before we go. We did run a HUD-less Garden of Salvation raid last week with our raid group, and you had some notes you wanted to mention about it. I mean, I had a great time. Just my overall, 30,000-foot view down. I really enjoyed HUD-less. I thought it would be much more difficult than I thought. I was really not looking forward to doing a HUD-less garden, but the first 3 encounters, we aced it pretty quick because we've all played it so many times, but we did get hung up on that last one. And I guess it was because we were trying to double up on the damage on the tethers at the end, and I guess we just couldn't get it done, but something was bugging.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that.
I know. But what?
Yeah, but
what'd you have to say about it?
I'm glad you okay. I mean, yes, it is harder, but also if you're used to the raid mechanics already, I think people realize once you get past the not knowing how much ammo you have and DPS numbers and things like that, really people who run the raids a few times kind of have like an internal memory of how long certain things are happening anyways. So with either sound cues or just mental timers in your brain or just other people calling out details, it's still very easy to get the encounters done as long as you don't have to be like really reading things on the screen. Otherwise, you're just then going in more blind and you just have to pick and choose. I had fun too. I hadn't done Garden HUD-less yet. I've done DSC a few times. I think I did one other. I think I did Garden once. That was kind of boring in my opinion. But yeah, I had a lot of fun too. And I do want to say, like, the first kind of couple encounters, it's really what you have to rely on is, I think, a better understanding of what's happening anyways. I think sometimes when people are like picking up motes, for example, in the raid, and this is good to have a count. It's not like it shouldn't be there normally, but they may just blindly pick them up and not know what's happening, but then look and see like, okay, I have 5, so I'm good. But the thing about it is, if you're not actually looking at the ground and paying attention to what you're doing, that's where you could miss a mote just normally playing, and you start running off, and then you look at your little text on the screen that says, oh, I only have 4, so now I got to run back and get another one. Well, see, what I was telling everyone is like, this helps you actually learn things better because you use your other senses. You don't just blindly pick them up. When they drop on the ground, you want to see that you're picking up 5.
Yeah, definitely makes you pay attention.
And these are things that I do anyways, because I'm a very observant. I'm a very visual person. Yeah. But I think it helps other people kind of just really like look at details more and say like, oh yeah, I actually need to pick up 5 motes literally with my eyes versus just relying on. And honestly, it's pretty easy because they usually just drop all there together anyways. But still, sometimes they can be spread a little bit. And then, the last encounter, the main thing that makes that a little difficult too, it's not, we weren't having problems just because of the tether thing. And yes, that was a big thing, but we got past that. But also, it's hard to know when Vex sacrifice.
Right.
You don't really, you do get a sound when they're up close, but that's their sound of them kind of like, I call it like the teleporter sound. It's like they're going to start like beaming off into space when they kind of sacrifice into the conflux. But the problem is like you can get that sound and it doesn't mean that they've sacrificed yet if you kill them really fast.
Right.
So really the only way to know normally is the text. So that is one thing we just have to go more on blind faith when we were playing. And I know that there was times where we had sacrifices where we didn't know because there was no text, or vice versa. We thought we had a sacrifice and maybe we killed it real quick before it went all the way. And maybe we were assuming there was a sacrifice when really there wasn't. So that was probably the hardest part in the last encounter. But I had fun.
I got to admit, being HUD-less, I didn't have all this information in front of me. I was actually able to focus better because there was no information around me drowning out my visual field. I was able to just know my job, know what I got to do. But I just wanted to mention that it was much easier than I thought it would be. And maybe I'll do some more raids down the road HUD-less. Try it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll give it a shot.
I'm always down.
I know Zombie's been wanting to do a DSC HUDless, and I mean, we got the dungeon this weekend, but maybe one weekend we'll jump in there and get it done. So, yep. Anything else you wanted to add about that? I had a good time. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I'd lost the bet fair and square, so it was only fair for me to honor that. So, okay. Well, we have our topic of the week, and I can't wait to talk about this because I've been thinking about this all week. So we'll jump into that right after this.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to Jealous Gaming on Guardian Downcast.
Well, Kingsley, for my topic of the week, I've been kind of thinking about this. And when I finished the campaign, there weren't a lot of lore books, but there were some new lore books that dropped from completing the campaign and completing certain activities in the campaign. And once I read these lore books, these entries, I was thinking to myself, what the heck? Why are we having to refer to the lore for this information? So I wanted to share that information tonight and see if you guys agree with me here. I want to start with what made Dredge and Bale hate the light and its guardian so much, because, this guy came out of nowhere. We're like, this Dredge and Bale dude, what's this guy all about? What the heck is going on here? So there was an entry called What Mother? It's entry 2. And I'm just going to read it here. Let me get a nice drink of water here. These lore entries aren't really huge, so it won't take too long to read. Yeah. So, but I'm telling you, these lore entries are really telling. So, all right, here we go. This entry is called What Mother? I've known Mother to be dead for longer than I knew her alive. I remember small moments, falling asleep on her shoulder as she carried me home night after a holiday party, teaching me to swim, singing as she washed the dishes. I remember feeling safe with her. Even when Father shouted, her voice would silence him, protecting me. Memories that comforted me. Until I saw her. The market at Bonet Plaza in the West District. I was getting lunch outside the Mechanica home office. Kaido's logisticians, Father's lickspittles, hiccups at factories 3 and 4. A miserable day, to say the least. I had interred her. She was ash. But in this moment, I saw my mother moving through the crowd with her ghost flitting around her head. She had been dead for 3 years at this point. Somehow, the light had found her. It seems all it needed was ash. 2 others chosen by the light marched at her side, bristling with weapons leashed to their puppeteers. The chosen on some holy business to save humanity, she glowed, flushed with heat, as if the fire that cremated her now animated her from within. I cried out in horror, unable to stop myself. It made me sense. It just made sense, of course. The traveler would grant my beloved mother the gift every child in the last city dreams of, every dying elder longs for as they move away from the main of life, eternal life without fear. But when I embraced her, crying her name at the center of a cheering crowd, what did my mother do? She shoved me away. I felt the searing push of her soul energy and her strength, a sizzling reminder of my chest as I stumbled back and fell. Not a twinkle of recognition in her eyes, just discomfort. The one gives, a clamoring beggar that gets too close. Cold. She was cold. She was hideous, a doppelganger, homunculus. Her chirping idiot of a ghost commanded me to clear the way, and off they went. Bystanders helped me get to my feet. Strangers, kinder than my own mother. Is this the truth of light? Is this what it does? Animate the dead and possess them with ghosts, puppeteers who keep them hooked to life like a fish on a lure? To prey on desperation and transfix the city in this poisoned dream? What miracle makes a mother spit on her child? My memories of her now curses, leaden dead weight, every single one a searing ember. Man, that that is a very haunting lore piece for me. But it makes perfect sense why Baal hated Guardians so much. And why was this not in the campaign? This is an awesome backstory. I don't understand why.
This is normal for Destiny. They always have lots of lore that's not in the campaign.
But this was a
day one.
Kingsley. This was a perfect setup before we even met Baal.
Yeah.
To see this cutscene I understand cutscenes are expensive to make. I understand that. But man, this is such a strong piece of lore. This is a big piece of information that if we knew, we would understand why Baal was so freaking animated toward us. But that was probably the most uncomfortable lore to read. But what do you think? Any thoughts on this?
Well, I was trying to pay attention, man, but do you have a TLDR? Like, I got a little lost. It was a little long for me.
Yeah. Baal had buried her mom. Her mom died.
Okay.
And 3 years later, as he's sitting for lunch, because he works for Tex Mechanica in one of the factories, he sees his mother running through the plaza that he was sitting eating lunch on. And he couldn't help himself. He cried out, "Mom, mother, mother." And he ran up to her, and she didn't even recognize him, because you get wiped, when you're brought back to life by a ghost. And the ghost was telling him to get out of the way. And he's saying, here it is. I have strangers that are helping me to my feet that are more nice to me than my own mother. So he's like, it's like a curse that his mother's running around being, brought to life from ashes. She was cremated.
Yeah. I do like that a lot. You know why? And it's because of more of a meta big picture answer. It goes along with everything. Like even in the Destiny verse, we've had hints all along that don't just assume that light's the good side and don't just assume that dark's the bad side. There can be reasons why dark, typically in games and movies and stuff, they make the dark side be like the bad side or whatever. But it depends on how you look at it a little bit. But also, even in a bigger sense, like there's times in the world where like religions way, way a long time ago in the name of goodness would brutally murder not millions necessarily, but, thousands of people and stuff like that. But that was the good side, you know what I mean? Quote unquote. So like that's why you really just got, you take it with a grain of salt when people say, what's the good side? What's the bad side? And, harming others, that's usually a clear sign of bad side. Not always, but usually. But it also makes me understand also and totally agree with what you're saying that of course he's going to not think that the light is good if someone close to him was totally changed and he didn't like that change and then other people were helping him.
Yeah.
Although I think it's easy to still say though his decisions were bad when he was then forcing that view on others by killing other light guardians. That's where it was more clear. But I understand the impotence, how it started. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing that he was against the light side.
I mean, every new enemy that we encounter should have some kind of backstory scene that we can understand where they came from, And here's the thing. They're relying us to turn to the Lord to find about Baal. But there's some speculation out there. I couldn't find any hard figures, but a lot of experts out there speculate that only 20% of the Destiny 2 players actually look at the lore in the first place. So
even that much?
Yeah, I thought that was high. I thought it'd be like 10% because that's about 10 to 12% of players even play a raid, let alone look at the lore. So I'm guessing that number is even lower probably, but my God, this is what's wrong with Destiny, man. Can you imagine if you had that backstory in this campaign? It would bring it up several notches. And I think it would be to the point that maybe even people would say, hey, listen, you got to know about this guy, Baal. You probably need to come back and play the campaign. It's really worth it. But the fact that they omitted this from the campaign, man, it's just like, that's such a key piece of information. I mean, that's like, it's like Darth Vader's history. They made movies about his history before they came to the end scene where, he's cutting down, other people that Luke cares for. But well,
I agree, because even though I was saying that Destiny has always done this, I did say in my review last week that I didn't think the narrative for the campaign was that good.
You're right.
I don't know if I want to talk about that more now.
You're right. The narrative, I mean, that would have definitely been nice to it.
It was too quick.
Yes.
It was too quick. The actual story was good enough, but I mean, like, how they presented it was not good. Not that the narrative team had bad ideas. I meant it wasn't fleshed out. It was too quick how everything happened and too confusing.
Right.
Not really. I mean, basically what's happening, but not exciting enough to really care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care really anything about Bale or William or the characters. It's like, whatever. It's like, they're both gone. I don't care. I don't care if I kill them or they're gone.
Yeah.
But
it simplifies the story.
It does add a lot.
It just simplifies the story, where it really takes a lot from the story. It's like seeing a movie and not knowing, if you watch any kind of movie, there's usually a cutscene where they go back in time, where they talk about how that person got to that point. Hell, movies even start with that sometimes and then fast forward into the future. But I could see where there'd be a part in the campaign where we would go to Spider, and Spider would go, "Oh, Bale, let me tell you about Bale." And then boom, jump into the cutscene about the incidents with his mother, where his mother doesn't even know who he is, and is up, after burying her and cremating her, and she's in an urn or whatever. He sees her. I mean, how dislodging would that be? Upsetting would that be to a child that sees one of their parents that they've got closure on running around, with weapons in their hand, going to save humanity? That's just such a big piece of key information. But I wanted to read one more thing here. This is entry 1. This kind of gives a little more background about Bale. This is called the Engine of History, and I'll read quickly here. This is a short entry. There is a level of suffering that I'm quite used to, and then there is working with Keidel's bureaucracy. Moving this battle rifle platform through Keidel's latest round of trials has dampened my spirits. Competition against the other foundries typically lifts my spirits, but not this time. I find myself wishing something terrible would happen to me. Maybe I would be struck by a meteor, so no longer must suffer through the signatures they ask of me in duplicate, triplicate, etc., etc. The Cabal marched into Empire not just because of their legions, but also thanks to their armies of quartermasters, how do you say that word? Logisticians, logisticians,
I think.
Logisticians. Thank you. No, that's the right way to say it. Logisticians, factory masters, armors, and so on. Their soldiers brought the stars to heal. Yes, but only because of the greater force that kept them fed, fueled, and stocked with ordnance. One would think the soldiers of the Cabal to be arrogant, but in this twilight age of that state, I found that the haughtiest and most entitled of the Cabal are the bureaucrats. They stand in the way of progress, clutching their columns, tables, and limits like a border guard and his rifle. When I want to give soldiers what they ask for, some quartermaster lumbers over to tell me I must not, for it must be too expensive. Small minds who don't dream, but think in terms of cost, capital, and limits. Discard your limits, factory masters and accountants. Follow your heart. Father, when I can get him to emerge from his tinkerer's shed, only mutters about how we must cling to Tex Mechanica's, quote, brand of old world class and style. Father's a sentimental dope, and I'm thinking of having to wait for his nod of approval. In the old world, people killed each other with less. They threw rocks. They fought with sticks. It's time for us to make something new. Until Tex Mechanica will push the firm into the future, despite him, I will follow the voices of soldiers and those who dare. That is how one keeps reverence for what came before, by responding to the will of the masses who compose of the very institutions these moribund leaders claim to represent. Father eventually will understand he must. Until then, I find camaraderie in the field. Bracchus Lume, my liaison, and the commander of the test unit that fields my weapon, understands and agrees. We have spent long hours together discussing many things. He serves as my muse to me, a rogue in uniform. He respects Keidel. As a soldier must submit to their commander, but through his words, I can pick out the shape of his true intentions. He paints inspiring images of Cabal before Callus when they, as Lumi so poetically put it, made an empire in tribute to the sun. Brave Brachus Lume, he has dreams like me, dreams of liberation, of rousing history and leading it forward. Torabottle, their empire. I am moved by his vision. How similar it is to my own. What weapon should we need to build to realize the aspiration of dreamers like Lume? That is what I ask of my designers and engineers. Imagine a weapon to be carried into the breach and beyond, a tool as mighty as the ones who wield it. Make Lume a weapon that he is proud to carry, and let me be the vessel through which it is delivered. Of course, there is a marketing of this thought, but I don't think of my ask as something that base. We make weapons, not sugary drinks. We give power a body, milling it from inert metal into implement that shakes the columns of reality itself. The barks of our beasts make kings and tyrants just as mortal as the lowest of us. I want, quote, Tex Mechanica stamped on the side of the Liberator's gun. I want us to be able to be the engine of history, so we begin with Lume. I will continue to tilt at these bureaucratic windmills, but I think now at least I'll do it with a steadfast squire as company. Together we'll score a victory over that class of manicured, desk-bound elites. They must think that they control the world with a stroke of a pen, a perfected spreadsheet, or the tweak of an allowance. But we'll show them that people with dreams should be the ones to make decisions. People united, individuals of supreme motivation who wrest the tiller of history away from those who would prefer to crouch on their piles of glimmer instead. It's time for dreamers to lead in the direction of their choosing. Now, what this talks about, I think this leads into the super weapon. I believe this is what leads into this weapon that he comes up with for Lume, which is the commander of the Cabal that I guess disappears. I guess it's still debatable whether we killed him or whether he disappeared in the campaign or not. But it appears that his father was kind of a company man and didn't want to deviate from the directives of the Tex Mechanica foundry, but he wanted more. He was a very ambitious young man, and he wanted to lead Tex Mechanica into the future. But he feels the fat cats just sit behind their desk or just holding back the company. So, yeah. Any thoughts on that?
So, by the way, in the game, they pronounce it Loom. They don't pronounce it Lume.
Oh, Lume. Loom.
If you care.
Loom, yes,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the reason why I didn't correct you earlier is I wanted to I was listening to a little voice sample while you were saying it, but at least that's how they pronounced it.
Loom,
but,
okay, gotcha.
What's also interesting is we met him a long time ago in gang. He was on the Blue Coalition side, like one of the side Cabal people.
Right.
Everything you mentioned here, I also love, of course, because again, it talks about like two different sides or two different ideologies, and how some people feel like it's kind of like a risk versus reward mentality. There's sometimes people that act too risky. They're like, oh, we can just do it. Like we can forcibly do something even if we don't have the resources and get it done. And sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. So then that's the side of like, if they do get it done, they're like, haha, we should have done it all along. If they can't get it done, then the people said, yeah, we didn't have the resources, said, haha, you shouldn't have done that all along. So I love that too. And again, it's playing two sides against each other on his ideas of how like he just feels like, in his opinion, he wants to do things a different way, just more off the cuff, more just kind of like going for it without having like procedures in place or whatever. I'm not saying one way is better or not, but it's very, very interesting of how they put that in there. You're right with the lore, and there's a Destiny video that Yves made that talks about it. We met him years ago and shows a picture of Loom when he was Brachus Loom before Premier Loom, and he was again one of the blue friendly Cabal on our side.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I don't know, man. I don't think Tex Mechanica is the foundry you want to try to push into futuristic guns. He needs to go to maybe Suros or, there's other foundries that have more futuristic guns, but Tex Mechanica has always been old world weapons. You look at these weapons and they're like, man, they're like from the Wild West. These are like older versions of weapons, but with today's technology built into them. So I don't understand why he was pushing so hard for for the Tex Mechanica to be the one that, I guess it's just who he ends up working for. But I mean, if he would have pitched this to Suros or Haka, maybe he had a better luck. But that was his frustration, that was that young Bale that was very, very bombastic and very aggressive. He wanted change. And this kind of alludes to why he was never a Guardian, because this is just a common human person. Yeah, his family worked for Tex Mechanica, exactly, Notorious. Yeah, it's why he talks about his dad. His dad's just in this little piddling shed where he just widgets on stuff all day, He's like probably an advisor, but it sounds like Tex Mechanica is a pretty sleepy company where you have all your long, old, owners of the company that just sit around and, it's like Porsche. They make the same car every year, same model. I mean, they don't change anything. They know what works and they just make a new one of them. Yeah, they may add features into it, but it's an old world family, Ferrari. I mean, a lot of all these Italian car makers, they know what they make is good, and why should they try to make anything different? So Ferrari's probably bad, but Porsche, I mean, same damn car every year, man. The 911's the same car every year. So I'll never buy one. Anyway, so we're asking ourselves here, why is Bale manipulated by Six?